Freeze!
Ryuga Gotoku wa Nusima reta o Kane ni Kansuru. Nihon no Shinkono Kunai, Hanzai dorama desu. Kanojo o Okasan o Sakashite Irunazo no Kodomo to Dojima no Dragon. To shite shira rete iru otoko. Sore wa anata omotoku fuku ni suriringuna Hanzai dorama desu. Okay, enough of that. My story with the Yakuza series is a rather strange one. It all began with a review on X-Play when I first heard of the game, but I really didn't think of anything. I was busy playing Metal Gear Solid 3 at the time. Then years later, Yakuza 4 would be free on PlayStation Plus, and I didn't download it since I had no memory in my hard drive because 22 gigabytes was way too much back in the day. Something I miss, honestly. So I never played it. It was until Yakuza 6, The Song of Life came out, where I didn't buy it. I downloaded the demo, and it turns out it was the full game. So I bum rushed through the game, got all the way near the end, and then the demo was locked. So there it was, hooked on Yakuza like a drug. I wanted more Yakuza. So I went on Discord, asked about Yakuza, and was told about Kiwami. Then on my next paycheck, so I went to my local GameStop and bought this exact copy of Yakuza Kiwami. And then I bought Yakuza 0. Then Yakuza 6. Then Kiwami 2. Then Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise. Then Judgment. Then 0 on Steam. Then the Remastered Collection. And then Yakuza 1, and finally Yakuza 2. I might have a problem.
You don't say!
Anyway, with my history of the series out of the way, this is a review of Yakuza 1 and Kiwami, and the PC port of Kiwami. Before I begin, I would like to thank Scarlett, who bought Kiwami and Kiwami 2 for me, and gave me the forced motivation to do this video. Thank you. Yakuza, also known as Like a Dragon in Japan, not to be confused with the name of the upcoming release of the series at this time of this recording, which I find strange because it's the 7th mainline game, but since it's so different from the main series gameplay-wise, they change it because they don't want to ruin the Yakuza name and treat it as a spin-off, which is a shame honestly, but I digress. Released originally in 2005 in Japan and almost a full year later for the rest of the world for the PlayStation 2, with lots and lots of localization changes done, and with a complete English dub, it has honestly not aged well.
You...
Sorry I'm late. I'm Kazuma, an associate of the Dojima family.
I didn't expect you to come, Kazuma-san.
When you don't pay your debts, I'm what you get.
Tomorrow. I'll have the money by tomorrow. Please, I have children.
I'm supposed to believe this shit as you're packing up, getting ready to bail out? I'll say it slower. Where is our money?
Please! I'm sorry.
Hey, how about getting the fuck up?
Please don't kill me.
Huh?
I've heard about the Dojima family. You guys collect your debts at the end of a gun barrel, right? When someone doesn't pay up, you kill them to prove a point. Everyone knows.
Listen, that's just a rumor, spread by fools that can't pay their dues. Ugh.
I don't have your money! Damn it! You leave me no choice.
Kinda. And for its time, it was the only Yakuza game that was dubbed, until Fist of the North Star by technicality.
Ruka, what if I promised to bring you back something? What would you wish for?
What would I know. I'd wish for all the apples that I could possibly ever want.
Well, okay.
And then the same for Judgment. And then finally with Yakuza 7, or Yakuza Like a Dragon, it would finally get fully dubbed.
We're risking our lives for a Measly 5,000 yen. Chill out, man. We're probably not gonna die.
It would later get an HD port for PS3 as Ryuga Gotoku 1 and 2 HD Edition, released in 2012, and for the Wii U as Ryuga Gotoku 1 and 2 HD for Wii U, released a year later, which is actually rather cool. It was never released outside of Japan, but I played it a bit, and yeah, it's a clearer and updated version of Yakuza for PS2. Just in 1080p, and the Wii U version is just the HD ports with the ability of switching to gamepad at will. Later, it would get a remake using the modified engine from Yakuza 3, released as Yakuza Kiwami in 2016 for both the PS3 and PS4. We would later get it in America the year after for the PS4. Then, on Steam on 2019, and finally on Xbox One in 2020. I can get really deep into the development of Yakuza, but there are plenty of those online, and they can explain it much better than I can. The one I recommend is Forging the Dragon by Yakuza Fan, which I'll put in the description. So let's begin this review. I'll be looking at the original US PS2 release for Yakuza, and the PS4 and PC versions of Kiwami, mainly because those are the ones that I own, and they were the ones that were released stateside, while the HD edition and the Wii U version were Japan exclusive. And both the original and Kiwami have enough stuff to talk about, mainly about the additions and changes in Kiwami, and the English dub in the original. That and the PS3 version of Kiwami is just Kiwami at 720p, capped at 30 FPS. This will be a basic rundown on the story since I don't want to spoil the game, since it's really story heavy, but mild spoilers are ahead. The game takes place in Kamurocho, Tokyo, a Japanese fictional city based off Kabukicho in Japan. You play as one Kazuma Kiryu, a lieutenant of the Dojima family, who by his own behalf gets taken to jail for a crime that his blood oath brother, Akira Nishikiyama, committed. As Nishiki killed the top captain of the Dojima family because Dojima was about to hurt their other childhood friend Yumi.
I just killed the top captain of the Tojo clan.
Since Nishiki has a sister who needs to undergo surgery, Kiryu tells him he'll take the blame. He gets arrested, he gets taken to jail. He would later get expelled from the Dojo clan due to him killing Dojima, with him also getting info of Yumi's disappearance. He ends up spending 10 years in jail. After that, once released from jail, he heads back to Kamurocho, where the real meat of the story begins. Funeral crashes, a lowly orphan looking for her mother, 10 billion yen missing from the Tojo clan. It's a crazy story, and I can't recommend it enough. I would go more into it. It gets really heavy into spoilers, with twists and turns. It's great. But the real question is, what version should you play? Should you go out of your way to play the original PS2 release, or play the updated Kiwami release? Well, let's begin with the original release, Yakuza, on PS2. It hasn't aged the best, being full of loading screens and loading hitches. From roaming Kamurocho to getting into fights, the game loads, and if you have an older PS2 with an older laser, the loading screens can last a while, and the frame rate might dip a bit. It only runs at 480i, but it does support widescreen. I recorded this on my PS2 via component cables, and yeah, the visuals haven't aged well. It's full of blooming places, and it's rather murky. And honestly, neither has the localization. The voice acting is fine. You have voice actors like Mark Hamill voicing Goro Majima.
The man who put the star in Star Wars, a real burr under Darth Vader's saddle, Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill!
Ow! I should kill you. Stupid! Fucking motherfucker! You like that? What?
That's enough.
I'm doing this because he disrespected you.
And Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy, voicing Detective Date.
This guy's a big shot who's trying to start his own family. He doesn't have money problems. He's covering for someone.
Though this was the only time Yakuza was dubbed in the States, until Yakuza Like a Dragon for the main line. But if you count Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, then that would be it. If not, then Judgment. But the translators pushed the profanity all the way up to 11. And with a lot of changes like Shintaro Kazuma was changed to Shintaro Fuma, and his business too. Though I will cut it some slack since it is the first game, and it has some growing pains that will later get fixed in the rest of the series. The PS2 version is still rather enjoyable. It's why it was re-released on PS3 and Wii U, And if you don't like the dub, there is an undubbed patch for the PS2 version, just no real translation patch though. And honestly, there is a retranslation of the game. It's called Yakuza Kiwami. Yakuza Kiwami was released for both the PS3 and PS4, and then later PC. It is a complete ground-up remake of the original Yakuza, just without an English dub. As a continuation of the prequel game Yakuza 0 with lots of changes, but keeping the original story intact with a bit more of expansion. For example, in the beginning when you meet up with Nishiki and Serena, in the PS2 version, once it zooms in into Yumi's ring, it jumps later into Kiryu waking up, while in Kiwami it shows that Kiryu was the one who went hell and above to get the ring. And then it shows Kiryu waking up. Another one is the whole backstory of which Nishiki, how he got his own family and how he changed as a person. It's one of the highlights added to the story. They also have some references to the events that happened in Yakuza 0. Another big change is the fights in the game. There are plenty of boss fights in the original that was pretty easy, just beat the shit out of the boss and bam. In Kiwami though, there's this Kiwami system where you have to pretty much defeat a boss with a special heat move or they're going to regenerate health. And it makes the fights last longer than it needs to be. And speaking of fights, while the original Yakuza only has one fighting style, Kiwami has 4, all coming from Yakuza 0. Brawler, Rush, Beast, and Dragon, which is based off the original fighting style in the original. And it isn't Yakuza Kiwami without mentioning the Majima Everywhere mechanic. If you like getting stalked by Majima, this is the game for you. The Majima Everywhere system is funny for a bit, but for endgame it's annoying, and it overstays its welcome. You have to max this out to get the Dragon style. Another thing Kiwami does differently is the minigames. While the original has a couple, like the claw games at Club Sega, Kiwami has pocket car racing, karaoke, and Mexican. One thing both do fantastic is the atmosphere of Kamurocho. The city red light district of Tokyo looks amazing in both the PS2 original and in Kiwami. With places you can find in actual Google Maps, you can spend hours just walking around, and I usually do in each Yakuza game. Kiwami, since it's a grounded up remake, it has a similar soundtrack but in a different style, and it fits pretty well. The soundtrack for Kiwami reeks of Tekken, honestly. Come on, Harada. Bring him in. I will say this though, when the song It kicks in Kiwami, when you're escaping the Tojo headquarters, it hits hard. A neat bonus for the PC version, there was a mod to change the Kiwami music to original PS2 soundtrack. It also brings back the cut music that was changed in the US version, so bonus points for that. You can also do this for a modded PS4 if you have that. This mod can be found in the description. There's plenty more I can say about both versions, but I'm bad with words, and the games are better off to be experienced. There's a reason why the Yakuza franchise has been kicking for this long, with sequels that go up to 7, including 0, 2 remakes, 3 remasters, 5 spin-offs, 1 with a sequel, and 6 if you include Fist of the North Star. a movie, and a stage play. There's a lot of Yakuza to go around, and there's more to come, and I look forward to them. In the end, go with Yakuza Kiwami. It's the original story with added bonuses, and it's way more available than Yakuza 1, plus the PC mods make it really replayable. But unless you really need an English dub, you can still get Yakuza 1 on Amazon at the time of this recording. I'll even have a link in the description. I've been Fonzie. Follow me on Twitter at Fonzie's Revenge. I stream on Twitch at Fonzman, and I'll see you in the next video. And eventually, the rest of the Yakuza series. I'll see you next time.
This is the part where you're supposed to laugh! Laugh, you stupid motherfucker!